Hi there, a warm welcome to you. Can you hear me, viewers? Thank you for responding with yes. Rapid developments in the Amhara region, where it seems there is chaos in Wollo. Is there any government in Wollo? Where is police? Where is regional government? Where are regional militias? Details for you in this live chat. Alarming news from a town where some incidents happened showing the lawlessness there. We have FKM, the first viewer who commented, Simon Tesfaye commented too, Cassette Solomon, Daniel Dassalin, Naro Turfa, Mame Zaman, Revival, Mekonan Micha, Beatam Gobis, Michael, Abinet Gebijeho, Nasir Hassan, Mulugata, Irilov, Shawl Mendafro, Gramio, Abera, Mursal Muhammad. Mursal says, can we say now a major war could break out in the Amhara region within days? Well, a quick response to it. The day Fano launched its operation in Wollo, I said that Eratia had fired the first shot through Wollo, Fano. And basically, Tafra Mamu announced the start of conventional war when Fano attacked military in Wollo. So they have announced the start of war, Fano fighters and their backers. We have Ehsan Siddiqui. FKM says, is land private property in Pakistan? Yes, you can own land here. No restrictions. Samuel Faleke, Mame Zaman says, most updated and accurate information by Sajid. You are better than some local medias. Thank you, Mame. We have Escol, Simon Tesfaye. Where are the Fano fighters advancing? Are they getting towards Addis Ababa? No, Addis is far away. Lul Segas Sigai here, Football Channel FC. Elijah Kano, my brother here, Michael Sefa, Ilyas, Milkias K, Anayam, Daniel Dassalin is demanding evidence about Fano, Eratia, TPLF cooperation. Let's see. You will see evidence, I think. Ediso Metaferia Mulugata Shifrao says, Steve Irwin joined too. Steve is a member. Special welcome, Steve. He just became a member. Thank you, Steve. Good to be with you in our membership community. I shared a link in community section and in comment section of the past two videos. This link will take you to membership page. You can be a member by choosing the tier which you want to select. We have around 40 members. If we have over 100 members, then we can start member specific live chats too. Gishao SFA here, Many Splasher, Mythico Dema, Beatam Gobis, Sof Umar Media, Samael joined right on time. Welcome, Samael. Samson T here, Mulugata T, Zisilasi, Zirabruk, Samius, Damascan Dinka, Shumat Kefalio, Bulal Akore, Med Abduali, David Mebrato, Mehari. Thank you for joining. Good to be with you. Several viewers are asking questions about Gashina. Tiago Mangisha joined. Welcome, Tiago. You have been absent. Welcome back. Mr. Samra here. Podcast joined. Musi Haptis here. This Faldet Hapte Tiklai Feleke here. Several people are asking questions about Gashina. 6 to 7 hours ago, I said that Fano were going to make a move towards Gashina. Because I was getting information from the area that Fano were pushing towards Gashina and government forces were panicking in Gashina. That is why they imposed ban on transport. That is why they did not allow Tuesday Marquee to be operational. So they feared that Fano will uh, launch attack on Gashina from multiple directions. And Fano are in a position, by the way. I briefed you on a map in the video, which I uploaded just an hour ago. In that video, I showed you in detail how Fano fighters entered Gashina. Their entry I confirmed in a video an hour ago, and 6 hours ago, I told you they were going to make a move towards Gashina. And I think their next step is going to be some march towards Lalibela Airport. All that is connected. We saw that in the past. By the way, Amhara region, Tegarai, Afar, I know these regions very well. I have covered so many battles in these areas. I know the terrain here, I have people here. It's not difficult for me to get information, but I wasn't focusing on Fano's activities in recent months. Now, after Wollo attack by Fano, I decided to cover. Why? Because I think that now something big is starting. It's not just an isolated attack by a Fano group. I believe it's the start of a major conflict now in Ethiopia. A lot depends on what ENDF does. So, Fano entered Gashina, I can confirm that. Will they be able to stay in control of Gashina? That I cannot predict about because it depends upon how forceful the ENDF's response is going to be. ENDF, by the way, will have to dislodge Fano from Gashina. If Fano is not dislodged from Gashina, you will see Lalibela Airport come under Fano control. You will see Fano enter Lalibela city in coming hours. That is very clear. Fuad Muhammad want to be a member. Fuad, you can click the link given in the past two videos, which I published a few hours ago, I pinned a comment there. In the comment, there is a link. Click the link. That will take you to membership page. So Gashina's fall for me is not surprising. But if Fano remain in control of Gashina, that will be a real proof of their strength. And I'm repeating, if they stay in control of Gashina, Lalibela Airport will also fall to Fano. And if Tegaraya fighters really support Fano, really, Sikota could be encircled. Sikota can easily be encircled. Fano can easily encircle Sikota if Tigray fighters support them. If Gashina to Waldia road remains under Fano control, believe me, Sikota will fall. But for that, Tigray fighters will have to be actively involved. And secondly, they will have to stop ENDF from entering southern Tigray from Sikota. We'll have to, yeah, Sammy S. Sikota is the headquarter of Northeastern Command. That is why I mentioned Sikota. I mentioned Sikota in the video too, which I uploaded a few hours ago. So let's see what Fano's plans are. Gashina is very strategic. That is what I am repeating. So I think military will definitely try to take back Gashina. Gashina's fall means that Vuldia to go on the entire road under Fano control. That Vuldia to Siko, that Gashina to Lalibela to Sikota to Tegarai road going to come under Fano control. It's not just an ordinary development, it's a big development. But Fano fighters are carrying out hit and run attacks in most parts of Amhara region. They are changing their strategy, but we'll have to wait. Let's wait to see if Gashina remains under Fano's control or not. I am in touch with people there. But by the way, I think that in North Wollo, you could see suspension of mobile networks. I think it will start because the way military is losing ground, the way Fano are no, Debre Tabor is not very strategic. Shumat says that they will make a move towards Debre Tabor. No. They can encircle Sikota. They're in a position to encircle the headquarter of one command of the Ethiopian National Defense Force if they have plans to do that. Debre Tabor is not as strategic as Sikota, as is Gashina, Lalibela, and Sikota are. Lalibela has an airport. So, and I think they are in a good position around Debre Tabor. South Gondar has been their stronghold, especially when Wubante Abate was alive. After Wubante Abate's death, they suffered some losses, but still they have their presence in South Gondar. They don't need to focus fully on Debre Tabor. They will focus on Lalibela Airport and Sikota. I am not advising them, but ideally, this is what they should do, I think. But all that depends on their capability to hold on to Gashina. Mitiko says, I personally feel the Wollo fighting is highly coordinated with the involvement of different groups. Yes, Uh, by the way, Tegarai channels know this area very well. You know, when they captured Gashina, it took them several weeks. I remember I did several videos. I have done 7,000 videos so far on my views and news, and majority of them was done on Ethiopia, on Tigray, on Amhara. So I remember that Tigray fighters had to put in lots of effort to take control of Gashina. They entered Gashina several times, then they used to retreat, they were kicked out. Ultimately, they captured Gashina. And once they captured Gashina, then uh, they marched towards South Wollo. That is why the place is very strategic. Though Tigray fighters made a mistake, by the way, uh, you cannot, you may call it a mistake. They tried to push towards Nifas, Micha, Debre, Tabor, Varata from Gashina, and they could never really enter Gondar. Uh, Gondar was a very tough battleground for them, but Wollo was easy for them to take control of. Now, I want to tell you about the chaos. I mean, the topic of this live chat is the chaos in Welcome Shafo. Shafo is a member to Special Welcome Shafo. Title of this live chat is Chaos in Wollo. Is there chaos in Wollo? Yes, to be honest, the reports which we are getting from Wollo indicate there is chaos. Firstly, in Marsa, several banks have been robbed. Several banks. I think 4 or 5 banks have been robbed in Marsa alone. Marsa is in North Wollo. It is under Fano control. It has been under Fano control for almost a week. So, Fano groups are being accused. They are the ones who stormed the banks and robbed millions of bears from the 5 banks. 4 or 5. Bank of Abyssinia is one of them. There are 4 others too, being confirmed by people. Whenever such bank robberies happen in broad daylight, when these robberies happen, bank authorities generally don't speak. In most countries, bank cash is insured. I don't know about Ethiopia, but in Pakistan, most banks have their cash insured. Even if the banks are robbed, since the cash is insured, that is why banks really don't suffer any losses. Uh, since Fano has been in control of Marsa, that is why Fano is responsible. And I wouldn't be surprised if I came to know that Fano groups are robbing banks. Why? Because they need money. And they want to have money to go on. Uh, some of these banks are owned by people who are in government. Most of these banks, by the way, are owned by people who have contacts with the government, were close to Addis Ababa. That is how you make money in Ethiopia, that you develop contacts with people in power, then you enter business and you make money. Banking sector is the most profitable sector these days in Ethiopia. So it is being said that Fano fighters robbed several banks in Marsa. Firstly, secondly, this is a sign of chaos. Secondly, regional police is collapsing. In Gidan, a police chief was killed. North Wollo. Then, in another district in Gojam today, a police chief was killed. In several towns in North and South Wollo, militia chiefs have been killed. In Dasizoria, in Kutabar, in other places, militia chiefs have been killed. District level. It means that regional security structure is crumbling. Rafil says Fano never robbed banks. Well, I am informing you what I have learned. Problem is that those who support Fano, they will never admit, they will never care to verify from the ground. When I reported about Mecca and Islam, you people accused me of working against Fano. You people made up stories. You justified that attack. But then everything was confirmed. Incident of killings of Muslims in Mecca and Islam was confirmed. So let's not tell lies. Try to confirm from the area. Contact your people in Marsa and you will corroborate what I'm reporting. Banks have been robbed there. And if banks have been robbed in Marsa, you could hear similar reports from other towns too in the Amhara region, which are under Fano control. Wherever Fano are in control, what would they be doing there? Well, it makes sense. They would be taking control of government offices, taking control of government logistics, government's weapons, whatever they can get from these towns, which is government property, they will definitely seize from there. They'll rob banks too. Ola has also been accused of robbing banks. Ola always denies, but people say Ola does rob banks. What happened in Gambela last year when Ola fighters entered there? They were accused of robbing banks. These armed groups operate uh, in this manner that they do such acts. But then what did Tigray fighters do in Cambodia? If you remember, I think it was Cambodia. They robbed a bank. One Tigray general is still accused of making millions of birrs from robbing that bank in Wollo, I think. Eub joined to Eub is a member to special welcome Eub. So it means that there is no regional security structure in Wollo now. Things are collapsing. Whenever regional forces, regional militias collapse, zonal governments, local governments collapse, what happens? Last time in 2023, when we saw similar scenes, though back then those scenes were not, those attacks were not well coordinated. This time there is plan, there is method, systematic attacks are being carried out. Last time when it happened in 2023, ENDF was mobilized. State of emergency was declared. This time too, big decisions are going to be made by the government, because if the situation is allowed to continue by the federal government of Ethiopia, Fano will swiftly march towards other strategic places, and soon other Fano factions will join too. That is why this week, I've been saying this week is crucial. Again, I'm saying this week is crucial, and you could soon see ENDF hit back because they have no other option. No other option. Only option is the use of force by the Ethiopian National Defense Force, use of air power. No other option available. It's not that I am proposing that uh, this is what ENDF should do, but they have no other option. Gabriel Selassie says, please stop disinformation of individuals without evidence. Which individual are you talking about? Ubabelo says, Ethiopian officials rob legally too if you speak. Yeah, you're right. It happens that people in power, they are involved, they're found involved in corruption. That is why these people are in power. They make money. They want to make money as much as they can. Samael says, Sajid, who among Fano issued the statement about mosque killings? Well, they issued video statements. I think several were issued. Several commanders spoke about it. What is the main source of weapon for Fano in Wollo, Show, and others? Jijijo Fungi says. Well, let me quote an Amhara regional government official who a few days ago, uh, this week, I think, gave an interview and he said that Tigray is providing weapons to uh, Fano fighters. By the way, Fano fighters can easily receive weapons now. Their main provider is Eritrea. EPLF is supporting too. Egypt could be involved as well. So it's not a problem for Fano to receive weapons now because southern Tigray is under Tigray control now. It's a TPLF control now. Eritrea can easily reach Fano through Sudan, through Tigray, and TPLF. People are working in collaboration with Fano fighters. And I think Fano fighters have control of Amhara Sudan border area. They can buy weapons from Sudanese arms smuggler. And lastly, they attack ENDF bases. Now, all the towns which are under Fano control, there are police stations. At least small arms can be seized by Fano from those areas, from those police stations. When they storm ENDF camps, they capture weapons from there too. So they have several sources of procuring weapons. By the way, some ENDF generals have also been involved in selling weapons in black market. It has been happening for a long time because I remember I used to be in contact with a man who was working for the Roma Liberation Army, and we used to talk about Ola's source of weapon purchases. And the man and some others, they were involved in purchasing weapons from Ethiopian National Defense Force for Ola fighters through some smuggling networks. MTTV says, can Fano actually take control of Daisy and hold it? What is the significance of? Well, uh, I think before Daisy, they might make a move to control Voldia. Perhaps they're in a strong position in Voldia than they are in Daisy, especially if Tigray fighters support them. But for me, if you ask me, for me, their best strategic move will be towards Sikota if they really want to weaken India. Controlling a city is less important, but controlling headquarter of a command of Ethiopian National Defense Force could be a game changer. Smith Ali, thank you for appreciating. Now Sport joined too. Welcome now. Koala says, Sajid, do you think Addis will soon be like Mogadishu with civil war between Amhara, Fano, Romo, PP, Shene, and Somali? One left. Well, Koala, no matter how rapid Fano's advance is, don't expect Fano to enter Addis tomorrow. It won't happen. That is why this conflict will go on. ENDF is going to respond soon. You will see that. Uh, and I always say that between Amhara, between Fano and Addis, there is Oromia. There is Oromia Regional Force, Oromia Special Forces, Oromia Police, Oromia Militias. It's not easy to enter Addis. People say, Sajid, Addis can rise from within. Uprising can start from within. Addis Ababa is the most militarized cities in Africa. In Africa, I'm saying, not in Ethiopia. Ethiopian government forces, Addis Ababa police, Republican guards, ENDF, cyber security agency, intelligence agency, and so many security institutions are operational and working in Addis Ababa. It isn't going to be easy to infiltrate the capital, and Fano will take time. So it's too early to say that Addis Ababa will be like Mogadishu. By the way, do you remember what Sadkan said? Do you remember during war? Let me welcome Johannes. He joined after a long time. Welcome, Johannes. Do you remember what Sadkan said during Tegarai war and what Gitacho said? Back then, they were in control of North Wollo, South Wollo, parts of North Shore, parts of Oromia Special Zone, and four Waridas of Afar were under their control. What did Sadkan say, if you remember? Sadkan said, there is no one between us and Addis Ababa. There is no one to talk to. And that's what Gitacharya said back then. That no one between us and Addis Ababa, who to talk to. But then you saw what happened. That their tanks, their pieces, their fighters were destroyed by drones, and Afar became a nightmare for Tigray fighters. Long supply line of TDF was cut off. And then they started their retreat all the way from North Shore back to Mekelle. So let's be slow. Freedom is not free says, can Fano have the capacity to control Daci for 3 consecutive days? Well, I think they'll have to. If you ask me, I mean, if you ask me how Fano can control these towns, cities, I think they'll do it step by step. You cannot control one city in isolation. You won't be able to hold on to it. I think if they want to control cities, towns, they'll have to work systematically with a plan. They'll have to start from, say, Kobo, and then they can march towards Wuldia, Gashina, Lalibela, Sikota. And gradually they'll have to march towards Marsa, then Dasi. So if the captured Dasi and North Wollo is not fully under their control, they'll be vulnerable. They won't be able to hold on. That is why I think they're focused on North Wollo so far. The meetings they're holding to consolidate gains are in North Wollo, Vichale, Marsa, Girana, Sanka. All meetings were held in North Wollo. They want to control North Wollo and maybe parts of Voghimra. And then they'll advance towards South Wollo. That is it South Wollo. That's what my analysis is. Top diplomat says, Sajid, can Oromo army survive the North allies? Well, I don't call it Oromo army. That's your view. ENDA will hit back. People should not underestimate Ethiopian National Defense Force million army. Jula wants to build a 2 million army. It's a huge army. It's not a million army, but they have large military. They have so many regional forces. Don't expect that END will collapse tomorrow and Fano will be in Addis day after tomorrow. Interesting question. MTTY says, I don't see Afar people fighting Fano. It is likely they will stay neutral. What are your thoughts? Well, Afar is led by Prosperity Party, and ENDF right now is using Afar to enter Amhara region. So Afar is being used by Prosperity Party. People of Afar, what will they do? Will they support Fano? Will they support government? Uh, I think majority will support the government. Uh, I don't see majority of Afars stand against the government. Yes, Fano will get support from there, but PP has strong presence there. And keeping in view the strategic significance of Ethiopia-Djibouti road will pass through Afar region, I think PP won't allow local Afars to actively support Fano. A Belgio says, Sajid, why not just give the region to Fano? Amhara region? Then Tigray should be given to TPLF, Afar to Afars, and BG to Gomes. Where will it end? It will go on. Ethiopia will be disintegrated. Beetham says, do you think Fano bought anti-drones? Let me make it clear today. So many people ask questions about anti-drones. Do Fano have anti-drones? Do TPLF fighters have anti-drones or not? Anti-drones are not very effective. That's my analysis. Anti-drones are effective to a very limited extent. especially the types of drones which are very modern, can easily evade anti drones. These TV2s fly at a very high altitude. Anti drone guns cannot detect those drones flying so high in the air. And secondly, now Ethiopia has developed the capability of building locally made drones, kamikaze drones. When kamikaze drones are launched, they are launched in swarms. Even the best of anti drones cannot uh, detect and destroy all the drones. Some manage to bypass the anti drones. That is why I think that neither Eritrea nor Fano or TPLF have very impressive anti drone weapons. They might have acquired, Eritrea might have acquired some anti drone electronic warfare systems. Fano might be in possession of some anti drone guns. Tegara in possession of anti drone guns. Maybe they're buying some EW systems too, not very likely. All these systems have limited role. I think, if you ask me, uh, Ethiopian drones will be countered by Eritrean drones, not by anti drones. Eritrea will use drones too. You will see that if it happened. And Eritrea does not need to use drones from its soil. See what is happening in Sudanese civil war. Some strikes on RSF are being conducted from Egypt. Sudanese drone stations are based in Egypt. From there, drones are being flown, which are striking RSF in Darfur and returning to Egyptian territory. Eritrea can do the same. It can use Sudanese soil to attack Ethiopia. And Eritrea can easily uh, uh, send drones to its allies in Ethiopia. So I believe drones will be countered by drones. Anti drones will have less role, I think. Damascus, can you send me an email about the information which you are sharing? Send me an email and then we'll talk about it. My email address is sajid67200gmail.com. Samail says Ukraine war is a textbook of drone warfare. Yeah. In Sudan too now, we're seeing increasing use of drones and anti-drones. But I think the best strategy to counter drones is the use of drones. Yes, all players, all warring parties, countries develop anti-drones too. They're not totally insignificant, but you need to have drones to counter drones. They hit you, you hit them. This is the solution. Well, I did a video on that a few hours ago. Ethiopian letter. I did a video on that. Jajijo is referring to a video which I did. He's saying, can Eritrea buy Safarov drones from Sudan? I did a video on that. These drones are very deadly, very effective. They are very effectively they're hitting targets in Sudan, RSF targets. So if Al Burhan has effective Safarov drones, locally manufactured. Eritrea can easily acquire this technology. Let's end the live chat. It was 45 minutes have passed. I just want to tell you that situation in Wollo is getting out of control. There is panic, there is chaos in parts of Wollo. Soon you will see action taken by the government. Let's hope that the government's action will be confined to Wollo. Though the hawks in the government, they want ENDF to start a multi-pronged operation against Fano and TPLF. Let's see what happens. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow. Till then, bye bye.